Do your fingers, especially on your left hand, feel slow when you're playing guitar? Do you know exactly what you want them to do, but when your brain tells them to move, they don't do exactly what you thought they were going to? Let's fix that right now. I'm going to break down why your fingers aren't doing exactly what your brain is telling them, and then I'm going to give you 2 exercises that you can use to fix it. I'm Jake, and I've taught thousands of adult guitar players from beginning to strumming and singing songs, and I want you to experience all the joys that being a guitar player has to offer. So our fingers don't always listen to our brain. Our brain sees our hand as a grasping mechanism. It most often is sending a message to our thumb and our middle finger to pick things up, to hold a cup or turn a doorknob, or to use a steering wheel. Now, that doesn't require a very precise signal. We just have to close our hand or open it. Now, not to mention that the muscle controlling our fingers is back in our forearm, and that we have tendons going to control those fingers, and some of the fingers' tendons are even connected back at our wrist. So we've got a long way for the signal to travel. We've got the message going back into our forearm, trying to control our fingers out here. Think about using one of those grippers to pick something up far away, right? One of those, it's got like a claw on the end and it's got a 3-foot stick. But now imagine that you're not just trying to pick up a soda can, you're trying to fret a note on the guitar. Well, that's what our brain is doing. So our brain tells our fingers to move, and essentially that signal is going down a dirt road, a 1-lane back road, dirt road. And what we need to do is we need to figure out an exercise or a way that we can turn that dirt road into a 10-lane superhighway. So when your brain tells your fingers to do something, they respond right away. But how do we do that? We need an exercise that sends a signal to each of our left-hand fingers or fretting hand fingers at the same time. Now, changing chords sometimes does that, where we're using each of our fingers, but that's what we're struggling with to begin with. So there's got to be a better way. And there is. The best way is to use an exercise where you're telling 3 of your fingers to stay put, and you're telling 1 of your fingers to move. So I'm going to give you 2 exercises that do this. The first is the spider. Now we line up on 5th fret of the thinnest string, then we put a finger on 6th, 7th, and then I don't have a pinky, but you probably do, and you'll put that on 8th fret. Then we're going to lift up only our index finger, making sure the other ones stay down. We're going to move it to the 2nd string. We're going to do the same thing with our middle. The other 3 stay down. Ring finger, and then you would move your pinky. Now we keep going to the next string, and we crawl up the neck this way, all the way to our pinky, and then we keep going, right? And then when we get to the end, we can turn around and go back. The idea is you're sending a message to 3 of your fingers that says stay put. And you're sending a message to 1 finger to move. But what that's doing is that's solidifying the connection between our brain and our hand. We're using our brain to power every single finger, but we're doing it in a slightly easier way than playing full chords. All right, now let's move on to my second exercise for this. I'm going to call it a fixed finger exercise. I want you to line up on 5th, 6th, 7th, and then your pinky would be on 8th fret of the 3rd string. Now, 3 of our fingers are going to stay fixed. That's why we call it a fixed finger exercise, and we're going to move 1 finger back and forth. I'm going to take my pointer finger, leaving the other 3 down. I'm going to move my pointer finger to the 5th string. Then I'm going to lift it up and I'm going to move it to the 2nd string. And I'm going to go back and forth between these 2 over and over again. Now you'll notice my elbow is moving, my wrist is turning a little. I'm working to make sure that I stay on the tip top of my finger, even going slower than I might otherwise be able to make sure that I'm practicing really good finger position with my left hand. Now I might repeat this 10 times and then move on to my middle finger, and then my ring finger, and then my pinky. Now I started with strings 5 and 2, but you could graduate to doing strings 6 and 1, and you could start at the 5th fret and slowly work your way back till you were comfortable doing an exercise like this at 1st fret. If these 2 exercises have been helpful for you, I would love for you to consider joining my free course and community at school.com/guitar. There's over 1,000 other guitar players in there who are working on getting better, sharing their wins, and generally encouraging each other. Also, I'm in there giving you tips and feedback and helping you grow on your musical journey. And right now, if you're looking for some songs to test out your newfound finger confidence on, these 4 are approachable, fun, and build a firm foundation in the guitar's fundamentals.